Hey, good morning. I wanted to show you guys a tool that I've been using for a couple years, and there's so much to it that I figured a video would be a better way. It's a better way. So this is a Clyde's garden planner. Let me turn it around so you're not looking at it backwards. Mama. Okay, so Clyde's garden planner. I actually got this from the Roots and Refuge website, but you can get them from Baker Creek. You can get them from Amazon. I have them in the shop if you're local. Anyway, so these things are amazing. They have a full setup for spring and fall, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay, so we are in our spring garden season. The first thing you do when you're planning your garden is you look up the last estimated frost date in the spring. If it's for the fall, you look up your average first fall frost. Okay, so there's been a little discrepancy maybe on what that is this year, but thankfully it's been pushed off to April 23rd for our area. We're in zone 7A. So we're going to take this line right here and we're going to pull it across. Okay, so you've got your different vegetables in order of when to plant down this side. And then you've got the weeks of the year of a planting season up here. Okay, so in the spring, the average last spring frost is what we're going by when it comes to our garden. So we're going to slide that down here, and the 23rd falls in between the 19th and the 26th, right? So that's where that's going to sit, okay? Okay, so now all of my planting dates are going to be in line with that being our average last spring frost. Okay, so first thing, we're going to plant onion sets. So Dixondale Farms says sometime in the middle of February. This is saying sometime in the beginning of March. I think that it's a general guideline. It's kind of like a rough estimate, but you're safe going anywhere in that time range. Peas, you're talking mid-March. Spinach, mid-March. Okay, so do you see, can you tell I've had this in my garden? It's covered in dirt. Okay, so can you see the asterisk next to cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli? That asterisk means it's recommended to start from plants, okay? So next to that, it tells you SI, which means start indoor seeding dates. So they recommend that you start cabbage and cauliflower indoors the third week of February and then plant it outside the third week of March. Okay? Radish and turnips the fourth week of March. And then they say that you should be harvesting radish and turnips about 4 weeks later, which is about right. And you've got about a 3-week span of harvest. Beets, potatoes, broccoli, they recommend to start from a plant. Peppers and tomatoes, they recommend to start from plants. So notice that your indoor seeding date on peppers and tomatoes is actually earlier in the year than cucumbers and squash, although cucumbers and squash have a plant outside date that's earlier than peppers and tomatoes, right? You see what I'm talking about? So it's super handy. It also has all sorts of information about, when you should expect your harvest, how long that harvest should last, how much yield you should get in pounds per 10-foot row of 12 inches wide, which is super handy. It gives you all of these companion planting options. So the top row is onions. Well, you can companion plant onions with beets, carrots, lettuce, spinach, tomatoes. And this isn't a hard and fast, right? I'm forever trying to push the boundaries of all of these things. So, use your internet, use your experiences. But this is a great guide to have in the garden when you spent months trying to plan it out, and then you get down there and you're like, oh, wait, I want to put this over here. Oh, now what? So this is great. Okay, the cool thing is that then you flip it. I guess one of the cool things. Flip it, and now you've got your fall season. Okay, so I'm not sure what our average last frost is, but I think it's somewhere around October 20th, or at least it has been in the past. So it tells you Onions are not recommended for a fall crop, but everything else on this list can bring a fall harvest. Tomatoes and peppers, you would be starting in the beginning of June, and you'd be planting outside late June, early July. Melons, potatoes. Potatoes can have a fall crop. You can plant them beginning to mid-July, and you'd be harvesting end of September, beginning of October. And you're just going to work your way backwards with those things. Cabbage, you'd start indoors at the beginning of June. You'd be planting with heat protection. It says protect from heat mid-July, which you could totally do with, row covers or shade or whatever. Carrots, cauliflower, all of these things, all the way down to spinach. You would be last planting mid-August, and you'd be harvesting September, October. I will say, for our area, we have been known to get harvest all the way through the beginning of December on a lot of things without cover. And I mean, it's January right now, and there are people still getting harvest on, kale and turnips and radishes and greens with a little bit of cover, even through some of the harsh winters that we've had where we've gotten down below zero. So anyway, it's not a hard and fast rule. Nothing is, I have found. It's all just one big experiment, but this guide is so handy to have with you in the garden. So what I do, I've got my my garden briefcase, right? All of my seeds are organized in here. I've got my flowers and tomatoes and peppers, and it kind of goes along. And then I'm going to follow Whispering Willow's guide for organizing them by seed date. So my next planting date is going to be January 27th, and then it's going to be February 3rd, and then February 10th, and I'm going to organize my seeds that way so that whenever it comes time to sow some seeds, I just grab that little case, start those seeds, and then I have them kind of successioned out, and I can keep myself a little bit organized. We'll see. But anyway, so that I'm probably just going to not keep in my garden briefcase. But typically I have this baby, and then I have my garden journal, which I can't say enough about having a garden journal and having all of my notes from all the previous years in one place. And my Clyde's garden planner. I have them all together right here, and I carry that down to the garden with me, and I usually sit on a 5-gallon bucket in the evening and gaze for a good long while and decide how I'm going to plant things and where I'm going to put them. And so anyway, if you haven't seen a Clyde's garden planner, now you have. You're welcome. And if you think that you could benefit from something like that, I do have these at the shop, or like I said, you can get them online all over the place. And whatever you're doing as far as growing food this year, I hope you're excited about it. See you later.